Hello and welcome to yet another module where we talk about winning interviews and getting the job done. So in this lesson, we're going to focus on how to win your interviews. Now, the moment you submit a proposal and a client says, "Hi," an interview has started, right? So that is just the process of the client trying to know you, to see if both of you can work together. And congratulations if you already gotten a client that said hi, right? So first, let me answer the questions. Are Upwork interviews like Nigeria job interviews, or are they like the ones we do locally? Now the answer is no. The interviews are different. Very, very different. The clients are just trying to know if you are their best fit, if you can do the job for them. So now, whenever you get an interview, I want you to bear in mind that the client is trying to see if you are a competent freelancer who can get the job done. That is the number one thing the clients want to know. If you are competent, like can you really do this thing? That's why they are reaching out to you. Now they want to check if you are able to communicate and collaborate well with them. You get it? Not that they tell you do this by 4 and you said the 4 is 4 a.m. or the 4 a.m. Eastern time and they are telling you 4 a.m. GMT. So you want to make sure you are able to communicate well with the client, or they are speaking English and it's sounding like in your ear. So you want to make sure you prove that you can communicate well with those clients. Now, they want to check if you can collaborate with their team, if they can reach you on email, they can reach you via Slack or any other platform they choose to collaborate. They want to know if you are that person that will flow well with the team. So those are some of the things you want to really prove in an interview. So it's not like your normal Nigerian or any other regular interview. So each time you get an interview, your primary goal is to prove that you are competent, you can communicate effectively, you are a good team player, and you are reliable. I think that sums it up. That is everything you need to prove on an interview, or when you are given the chance. I want to quickly go over the types of interview you can have. The first one is the message or chat interview. It can be via chat, and the next one can be via audio call, and I think the last one is video calls. Like you have your camera on when you're having the call. So it's a bit of a difference, but the video and the audio calls are similar. Just the difference is just the visual. So for that, you may need to just add a little more extra layer of preparation. So I want to quickly share with you some tips to win message interviews that happen via chat. How do you prepare for them? Now, the first thing I want to bring to your understanding is that you must type in simple and correct English. Now, personally, I avoid chatting with clients from my phone because I may have a typo easily. So I use my laptop to chat with them, especially if they are new clients, right? But if you are very comfortable, I have a friend that says she's phone-centric. So if you are phone-centric and you can use your phone very well, why not? But make sure you're typing simple and correct English. Now, the next thing, if they ask a question, you want to answer in the best possible way, simple possible answer. That's the simplest possible answer is what you want to give as a response to that question. So you don't have to type long stories in the chat, right? So simple, clear answers. That's what you should provide when you ask questions. Now, if the prospect give you an option to schedule a call, because sometimes when people chat with you, they want to ask you when it's convenient for you to have a call. Please and please choose the best, like the earliest time. So if you are available tomorrow, tell the client, why not? I'm available tomorrow. If you're available now, say I'm available now. Then you ask the client when it's convenient for them. You get it? So you don't go and choose next week for an interview. Remember, one of the goals for a client using Upwork is that he wants to hire quickly. So if they ask you when you are available for interview and you say next week, how is that quick? You get? So the earlier, the better. Now, another thing is you should avoid typos in your text. I've said you should install Grammarly on your phone. That way it checks your text and say, okay, this is a typo, right? So avoid typos on your text. Now, the next thing is you should also leave your data on. Yes, for the message interview, because if a client sends you a message and it takes you like 5 hours to respond, you may lose that client may drop off. So when you leave your data on, once a message comes into your phone, bam, you get the notification. Once a message comes into your phone, you get the notification, and you'll be able to kind of apply for that, reply to that message, right? So you must leave your data on. Now, if questions are asked about past works, like if somebody asks you what are the places you've worked while you are doing the interview, if you have a link to the website you've built, share the link. If you have a link to the graphics you've designed, share the graphics. You get, if you have anything that on the internet that shows what you have done, share it. If you have your portfolio, share it. Share a link to it so that the client will go and see it for himself. Not you just trying to type, I've worked for Jumia, I've worked for Jumia. You put the link there. This is jumia.com. I've worked there as XYZ. You get? So I've worked for MTN. Put the link there so the person goes and say, oh, you've worked here? You get? I've designed graphics for, share a link to that graphic. So make sure you are sharing the links to the previous job so that the clients will go and see it, especially when it's on the internet. So for a prospect, do not use abbreviations like LOL, especially when the person is just chatting with you for the first time. No matter how funny, don't go and say LOL, BROB, ASAP, or you say SYK, so you know. You get? So please avoid the abbreviation for a first-time client. If you have turned close friends, you can start using abbreviation. But for a start, during the interview stage, please avoid abbreviations. So I think you can also add emojis, but not the stickers we use on WhatsApp. Emojis like a smiling face, right? Not like if they ask you a question, you reply with thumbs up. Oh, no, not that type. But you can add emoji to spice up your text so it will not be just all long text. Now, the one thing you should do is to avoid sharing your contact information. You may have clients that will say, what's the best way to reach you? Please do not share your contact information. And if you must do it, try to write it in a way that Upwork will not see your email shared, because they have a bot that crawl the emails you send, the messages you send, to find emails. Like if you share your contact information, because it's a marketplace and they get money from the job. So if you share your contact information, they will think you are trying to take the clients off the platform. You get it? So you don't want to pay them their money. You get? So the platform is built for you to work there. So as time goes on, you'll be able to get the clients obviously to your inbox. You can share that during a call. But if you must share your email address before the call, you can find a way to write it in a way that Upwork will not figure it out that you are sharing your email address. So I want to share with you some of the tips you need to win audio and video interview. Now, these are interviews that happen. They will hear your voice, they will hear your environment kind of, except you're using a noise cancellation headset and your environment is quiet. They will see your face if it's a video interview. So I want to quickly share some tips with you. Now, the first thing you should do when you have to schedule a video and audio interview is make sure it's at your best convenience. If your compound is always noisy during the day, please select evening so that somebody will not shout Genero or somebody will shout Ramanu. You get? Don't let that thing spoil your shine. You get? You've worked hard to get a client, so select it put it in a time that works very well for you. Your environment is quiet, the noise is reduced, right? So make sure you pick a time that works for you. That is number one. If you schedule your interview wrongly, you may lose it. Now, ensure your environment is noise free. Like I mentioned before, you want to make sure there are no noise in your environment. I think I said in a previous lesson that I was chatting with a client and we're in a car and they crow like you get it. So then the guy was like, what is that? Is that a hen? You stay with a hen? You get? So make sure your environment is very, very quiet, noise free, or use a noise cancellation headset, or go to one corner that is quiet. There are times I travel to do interview. My brother, when I was starting, it was a lot of trouble. So when I have interview, I can travel and say, I beg, guy, Alpha, they come your place. Shout out to Ruke. I think I've traveled to his place once, one or twice to do an interview. So it's funny, but it happens, right? So get a very quiet place to do your interview. Now, I want to say get a good headset, but it's expensive. So if you get a good earpiece, that works very fine, provided it does not pick noise from the environment. That works very fine. Now you want to also make sure that you have good internet connection. I cannot overemphasize that internet, very good one. Get good internet connection. In fact, when I was starting, I had close to two modem. I had all the SIM card, MTN, Glow, 9 Mobile. It was a T-Select, 9 Mobile, Airtel. I had all of them. So when I'm having an interview, data is on my phone, data is on my model. In fact, sorry, I saw a funny post on LinkedIn. The guy shared all the router he has, and it's like a stack of router. So he does not want village people to come for him, right? So I'm not saying you should do that, but make sure your internet is good. You don't want to say, I could not join the call. Hey, wait, is that how you work for international clients? Now, if you are using platforms like Zoom, Skype, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams for the interview, I want you to take the extra pain and test them. Make sure they are working for your system. I've been with a friend and all of a sudden the mic will not work. Like the microphone on the earpiece will not work with the system. Now, if that is your first time, you'll be nervous, you'll be disorganized. So currently, if my mic is not working, I will just say, excuse me, let me fix my mic. I'll do my hand like this and the client will understand, right? But if you are new, that may disconnect you. That may make you scattered. Or if I'm not hearing the guy, I will just do my hand like this, like I'm not hearing. You get it? So the client will understand. But if you cannot test this thing before time and it's your first time doing such interview, that may put you off guard. So I want you to prepare well so that you can win your interview. Now, do not use a phone. I think Zeno, she used the phone for her first interview. I think something happened with that. One of our interviews, something went wrong with it. So please avoid the use of a phone for your interviews. Use a laptop. Make sure it is properly set up so that when they share a link for you, you can click it. Take, for example, if they share a link for you and you are using your phone, will you click and close the browser tab and go to the next? No, it does not work like that. So make sure you are not using your phone for your first interview, except maybe your job is you just want to chat with the client. Like it may disappoint you. You get it? Though you can start with your phone, but as much as you can, get a laptop, get a tablet to do your course. That will be very nice. Now, you must not own it before you use it. You can ask somebody politely, hey, can I use yours? Now, when it's a video interview, you must have good light. You must have good light. Imagine I don't have a light here. Maybe you just be seeing my face one kind and all of that. You must have good lighting if you are doing video interview. Now, if they ask you a question, do not rush. Do not try to no. Pause. Say thank you for the question and use that time to think about what you will say. Don't go and do and before you know it, you've said nonsense. So pause, take a moment and say, let me take a minute, or I beg your pardon, or say, let me think about that. You get, excuse me, please. You get, so pause, no rush. You get, no go the overdo. You get it. So just take it easy, small. You get it. They can hear you like this. You don't have to form their voice or try to speak like them. So I think almost the last thing I want to tell you is that you need to smile. You need to smile. It shows confidence, and you need to also show that confidence in you. You get it. I've done interviews and I'll be like, did you hear me clearly through the call? Or I will say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the call or the interview with me? You get? So this is me showing that I'm confident. You get it? They perceive it, they see if you are fearful. So be very, very confident. Don't be doubting yourself. You are good enough. You are very good. Now, do not pretend. Do not pretend. Be original. You are not a British person. You are not a UK citizen. You are not from Canada. So trying to do, hey, last year I worked at. That will not work for you. They will catch you. I worked with someone some years ago that he speaks English, but small time about on the phone. Come on now. And that's not like he talks like that. You get it? So be original, be you, speak. Provided you're speaking English, let me even shock you. Nigerian English, if you speak good Nigerian English, it's acceptable. People hear you. You get it. In fact, they applaud you. They say, wow, you speak so nice. You get it. So speak normal English. Don't try to fake it. You get. Now, I want to allow you ask questions. It's been a long lesson. So ask questions. And in our next lesson, we'll talk about getting the job done. If you've won the interview, what do you need to put in place when you are doing the job? You get it. Now, thank you very much for your time. And I'll see you on the next lesson. Don't go anywhere. We're almost done. So don't go anywhere. See you again.